the Pedia. General Studies video lectures, notes and practice question sets for engineering service examination, and other conducted examinations. In this video we had discussed a subtopic of energy and environment, which is mitigation strategies. Comes under climate change. Mitigation strategies. Carbon sequestration. Carbon capture and storage, also known as CCS or carbon sequestration, describes the technologies designed to tackle global warming by capturing CO2 at power stations, industrial sites, or even directly from the air, and permanently storing it underground. Carbon sequestration describes long-term storage of carbon dioxide or other forms of carbon. Carbon sinks, an area that absorbs carbon. Natural sinks, oceans, forests, soil, etc. Artificial sinks, depleted oil reserves, unminable mines, etc. There are three main steps to carbon capture and storage CCS. Trapping and separating the CO2 from other gases. Transporting this captured CO2 to a storage location, and storing that CO2 far away from the atmosphere underground or deep in the ocean. Ocean sequestration: carbon stored in oceans through direct injection or fertilization. Geologic sequestration: natural pore spaces in geologic formations serve as reservoirs for long-term carbon dioxide storage. Terrestrial sequestration: a large amount of carbon is stored in soils and vegetation, which are our natural carbon sinks. Increasing carbon fixation through photosynthesis, slowing down or reducing decomposition of organic matter, and changing land use. Practices can enhance carbon uptake in these natural sinks. Geologic sequestration is thought to have the largest potential for near-term application. Carbon dioxide can be effectively stored in the Earth's subsurface by hydrodynamic trapping and solubility trapping. Usually a combination of the two is most effective. Green carbon. Green carbon is carbon removed by photosynthesis and stored in the plants and soil of natural ecosystems, and is a vital part of the global carbon cycle. Blue carbon. Blue carbon refers to coastal, aquatic and marine carbon sinks held by the indicative vegetation, marine organism and sediments. These coastal ecosystems are very efficient at sequestering and storing carbon. Each square mile of these systems can remove carbon from the atmosphere and oceans at rates higher than each square mile of mature tropical forests. Carbon credit. A carbon credit is a tradable certificate or permit representing the right to emit 1 ton of carbon or carbon dioxide equivalent to CO2e. An organization which produces 1 ton less of carbon or carbon dioxide equivalent than the standard level of carbon emission allowed for its outfit or activity, earns a carbon credit. Countries which are signatories to the Kyoto Protocol under the UNFCCC have laid down gas emission norms for their companies to be met by 2012. In such cases, a company has two ways to reduce emissions. It can reduce the GHG greenhouse gases by adopting new technology, or improving upon the existing technology to attain the new norms for emission of gases. 2. It can tie up with developing nations and help them set up new technology that is eco-friendly, thereby helping developing country or its companies earn credits. This credit becomes a permit for the company to emit GHGs in its own country. However, only a portion of carbon credits of the company in developing country can be transferred to the company in developed country. Carbon, like any other commodity, has begun to be traded on India's multi-commodity exchange. MITEX has become first exchange in Asia to trade carbon credits. Carbon offsetting are credits for reductions in greenhouse gas emissions made at another location, such as wind farms which create renewable energy and reduce the need for fossil fuel-powered energy, are quantified and sold in metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent (KE). The fastest way to achieve the deepest reductions within businesses, and it also often delivers added benefits at the project site, such as employment opportunities, community development programs and training and education. For a carbon offset to be credible, it must meet essential quality criteria, including proof that it is additional. The reduction in emissions would not have occurred without the carbon finance, that it will be retired from the carbon market, so it cannot be double counted, and it addresses issues such as permanence. It delivers the reductions it stated, and leakage. The emission reduction in one area doesn't cause an increase in emissions somewhere else. Carbon tax. The potential alternative to the cap-and-trade method currently used by the protocol. The aim of this tax is to cause less fossil fuel use and hopefully cause an incentive to use other sources of energy. India's position on carbon tax. India will bring a challenge against any carbon taxes that rich countries impose on Indian imports. Geoengineering. Geoengineering primarily aims at modifying and cooling Earth's environment, defeating the environmental damage and ensuing climate changes to make the planet more inhabitable. Geoengineering, at this point, is still only a theoretical concept. Hydrogen sulfide is an even better candidate for atmospheric seeding than sulfur dioxide. Next we will be discussed about a new topic of climate change, which is India and climate change.